Yeah. So thanks for having me on Trade Thirsty. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm like super stoked for this election. It's only a shame that they only come around every 2 years because there's a ton of money to be made, guys. And I think by the end of this presentation, everyone, as long as you stay with me throughout this presentation, I think that you'll probably be convinced that I'm showing you something that you really can make a lot of money from. Something that's not just hype and BS and just the things that you see a lot of times every day in your email inbox, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all this. I'm going to show you the trades. I'm going to leave no stone unturned, guys. Okay. So let me go ahead and just roll right through my slides because I only have about 2 minutes per slide, so I have to get rolling. So here's the disclaimer. Jeanette, I don't know if you do one of these before we start, but anyways, I'm going to show this,
Yeah, Matt, I post it, but I guess today I really didn't talk about not trading with your milk money. Yeah. I used to say that, don't trade with your milk money because you need your milk, right? It's important.
Right. Yeah. So don't trade with your mortgage money, but you can trade with your electric bill money. I'm just kidding. Yeah, but here's the disclaimer, guys. So let me give you just 1 second to read that, and I'm gonna go drink a sip of water. All right, so there's a disclaimer, guys. We've seen it a million times. So what are you going to learn this Saturday here at 11 a.m. Eastern time? Let me go ahead and lay it out for you so you know, okay, do I want to stay for this or not? I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you a few bullet points what you're going to learn. You're going to learn what stocks I feel will have binary reactions to their election results within 48 hours or about that time span, maybe sooner, maybe just a little longer than that, of the November 6th midterm election day and what that means. Also, how to make money on GLD if it goes up or down post-election, and I'll show you some real good hard data on why that's going to be the case, most likely anyways. Also, we're going to turn back the hands of time, go back to the 2016 election. I'm going to show you how I knew to place a trade just before that election that netted me over 600% gains. Okay, so six-bagger and some change. And then also, lastly, how to make 2018 potentially your best year ever, even if you're in the red so far. So I guess I could ask for a show of hands of how many people have seen their account balances go down in the last, say, 2 or 3 weeks, right? I mean, you can kind of sit there in your chair and raise your hand, I guess, just for the sake of a little bit of humor, I guess, to kind of ease the pain a little bit. But guys, what this is going to do is this is going to, in my opinion, if you do this right, and if you position size your trades correctly, this is going to turn these last 2, 3, 4 weeks of pain into, hey man, making this a really great year for you. Okay, so let me just tell you just a little bit more about myself. I'm the father of 4. I have a 5 with a question mark there because we just took in my 16-year-old nephew. So I tell people I have 5 kids. I think it's kind of fun to tell people I have 5 kids and watch their reaction. I'm a born-again Christian. I'm a trader of stocks, options, and even cryptocurrencies. I'm not going to talk about those today, but I figured I'd let you know. I'm also a Cleveland Browns fan, in case there's any fellow Browns fans out there. I'm originally from Ohio, Toledo, Ohio, but I now live in sunny Columbia, South Carolina. And of course, I publish actionable research and trade ideas, which you're going to get today. Here's a picture of me and my kids. We're at the Noah's Ark replica in Kentucky. Highly, highly, highly recommend that, guys. If you want to see what it was like, to the exact dimensions that are in the Bible and all that jazz, just south of Cincinnati. And here's us at a baseball game. So also you might wonder, okay, am I a profitable trader? Am I just someone that's going to spew, just hogwash at you? Well, you can see here from my account, a screenshot over the last couple of years. I've done pretty well. I've had my ups and downs just like you have. But overall, I'm trending from the lower left corner to the upper right, which is what you want to see, right? All right, so let's get right to it. So midterm stocks that are in play. All right, so the first one that I want to talk about is Facebook. How many remember old Mark Zuckerberg going to Capitol Hill and testifying, right? And there's all kinds of funny memes and gifs going around about, how he looked like a robot when he was drinking water, kind of, humorous there. But the reality is that there's going to be reaction in Facebook depending on the election results. So if you guys have heard what the word on on the street is, I guess, or what people on the left side of the political spectrum want to do is they want to start regulating social media. So I've been hearing this, in the financial media for months now. The reality is it's not going to happen unless Democrats win the House, because Republicans don't pass laws that increase regulation. It just doesn't happen, right? It's not in their blood. So, but if the Democrats, in my opinion, they go ahead and push this, I think President Trump just might sign some kind of legislation that regulates social media, because, he has his times where he criticizes it himself as well, right? So there's going to be a trade there. It's either going to be a rapid climb or a rapid decline. I don't see this going sideways. So what you have to have is a trading plan for how this is going to react based on the election. You have earnings coming out October 30th after hours. Okay, so the reason that's substantial is because that means earnings are out of the way for a nice, clean reaction to the election results. Okay, so bear with me here. I'm going to talk a little bit more details in a minute, but let me move on to the next play, okay? Because this is going to have a big reaction, but I don't want to talk about the specific trade just yet. Secondly, we're talking about MJ stocks or weed stocks, or like one friend of mine, he calls them dope stocks, right? So anyways, whatever you want to call them, guys, they are what they are. And Republicans actually, a lot of people didn't see this headline, but they introduced a bipartisan process for passing federal marijuana legislation next year. And if you want to think about maybe something Republicans and Democrats can work on together, I know it seems like it's impossible, but it is possible in my mind that they could work together on something next year to pass some kind of federal legalization, which of course would be huge, right? You saw how the big rallies we had in all these weed stocks just from, Canada, which is just a fraction of our population, right? So imagine that, 50x if we get some kind of legislation here in America legalizing marijuana at the federal level. So you might think, well, MJ stocks are great and everything, but, isn't that all that primarily Canadian? Well, it is. You see most of those names you see moving are Canadian, but Constellation Brands can acquire, they own a big stake in CGC, Canopy Growth, and they can acquire up to 51% of that company if they want. Now, they also had a new CEO that just took the helm a few days ago, and what they're saying is, the analysts are saying, is that he's more apt to expand their cannabis footprint. So it's like, okay, well, you have this big business where they sell alcohol and stuff like that, and I don't even drink or smoke pot or anything, so don't get the wrong idea here. I'm not advocating this, but at the same time, what I'm saying, this is a trade to be had, right? So what I'm saying is that Constellation Brands could be a huge mover post-election. Okay, so you've also got some states that have like Michigan is one of them, that have recreational use of marijuana on the ballot. So there are binary reactions that are going to come, and I highly doubt they're going to vote it down, right? People just nowadays are just going to vote for it to be legalized. So that's in play. Here's a little blurb about Constellation Brands that I found from Investor Place that kind of just sums up what I just said, right? So it's talking about a fourth leg after beer, wine, and spirits. Okay, would be the cannabis sector. Okay. All right. So this is in play. But what kind of play are we talking about here? Well, I'm talking about playing it with options, and I'm going to have a specific trading plan. Talk more about that here before we close down here at the end of the hour. Yeah, just before noon. Now, the third and fourth, I suppose, is FNMA and FNMAS, so Fannie Mae Common and Fannie Mae Preferred Stock. So, guys, what's happening here is that the clock is ticking, tick tock, tick tock. So what happened a few years ago when Donald Trump won the election is that he appointed Steve Mnuchin to be his Treasury Secretary, right? And so what Mnuchin has pledged to do, he hasn't followed through on it so far because it's not it wouldn't be very politically expedient for the president's administration to be doing this. But what he has promised was to basically privatize Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Well, if that were actually to happen, guys, Fannie Mae would be beyond $5 before you could, sneeze. I mean, it would happen fast. But it's gotten hung up in the legislative process. Republicans and Democrats can't agree upon it. Of course, the government likes all that free money coming in their coffers from the profits that are coming from Fannie Mae and all that jazz. But the fact remains that Steve Mnuchin has an agenda. He doesn't talk about it often, but he does have an agenda to privatize Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Okay, so what's going to happen is, regardless of this election, is that we're entering into a paradigm shift where now we're looking at the last 2 years, most likely, of Steve Mnuchin's term as Treasury Secretary, even if Trump wins re-election in 2020. And what he's going to do, and what people are speculating he's going to do, I don't know that he's going to do it for sure, but is that he could possibly do something with the stroke of a pen, just type up a Word document in his computer in his office, sign it, and say, okay, by the way, Fannie and Freddie Mac are privatized now. And boom, shares just go to the moon. Of course, you'd have to realize he'd have to do that on his way out, probably, more towards the end of 2020. But guess what markets do, right? What do markets do, guys? They start to price in certain events that they think are likely to happen, right? So what you need to do is look at Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and say, okay, after this election is over, we're entering into a new season or a paradigm shift for these stocks, because what people are going to start doing, they're going to start accumulating and accumulating and accumulating based on the bid that is out there on the notion that Steve Mnuchin is going to do something through kind of an executive type action to privatize these companies and send the stock soaring, right? All right, so I was kind of long-winded about that. But here's a big play for the election. So that's kind of more like a several month swing trade you could consider after the election. But one of the things that I'm really, really excited about, guys, and I've had a lot of success trading this ETF in the last 2-3 years, is the GLD ETF. So it's had a history of volatile reactions to recent elections. And what's going to happen is there's going to be a big reaction on November 7th. That morning, there's going to be either a big gap up or a big gap down. Write it down. If I'm wrong, hey, I'll admit that I was wrong. But I'm going to show you that I'm probably not going to be wrong here right now. So you're going to have a big binary reaction. So let's take a look at some recent elections, 2010. So let's go all the way back to 2010 midterm. That was when the Tea Party, did their march on the Washington Monument and all that stuff, and a bunch of Republicans won. So if you guys can see that, I don't know if you can see my cursor or not, but if you can see where that red circled candlestick is in early November of 2010, that is the day after the midterm election, So that's the reaction. And, I crunched the numbers. It was almost a 3% move in GLD. That's pretty huge. You might say, well, how would you know which way to play GLD in order to make money off of that type of reaction? I'll tell you in just a minute. Next one, 2012 presidential election reaction. November 6, 2012, the day after, of course, we know Obama won re-election and Mitt Romney lost. So what happened was you saw a decent gap up and then a powerful, strong-bodied move through the rest of the day, as you can see evident in that candlestick that's highlighted in my crosshairs right there, okay? So nice big move in GLD, and it even continued for 2 or 3 days afterwards, right? So again, you might say, Matt, that's all fine and dandy, but what if I thought it was going to keep going down because it looked like it was in a downtrend right here? Well, no worries. I'm going to show you how you could have made money either way. But let's look at 2014 first, so I can show you and prove my case even further. So GLD here, the day after the election, November 5th, 2014, you can see it had a huge gap down all the way around from just under 113 to 109, right? The mid 109s it gapped down to. That's a huge gap down. Again, you might have looked at that chart and said, I think it's due for a bounce here after election day, bought calls and lost your hiney. But you could have made money either way if you use a certain strategy. And some of you experienced traders already know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to tell you here what it is in just a second if you'll bear with me for a couple more slides. 2016 presidential election reaction. All right, so we know who won in 2016 was President Trump, obviously, and the Republicans. crushed it in 2016. We remember how futures reacted that night. They were soaring. They were tanking. And then at about 2 or 3 in the morning, the legend goes that old Carl Icahn went and started buying futures, at the lows, and just bought, just a ton of futures contracts, and of course made a ton of money, because by the time the market opened that next day, it was almost in the green. And of course, we had that awesome rally all the way into that basically didn't end until January of this year, right? And then we kind of went sideways, and now we're going down a bit. But anyways, you can see that it actually gapped up. So this one was a little trickier because it gapped up and then sold off and, and gave up all those gains. But what happened was it sold off very strongly for the next 2 days, which made this also a good binary reaction to a certain trading strategy. Let me guess if there's anyone, let me see if there's anyone in here that knows that strategy. I'm just curious. Am I allowed to do that, Jeanette? Am I allowed to ask if anybody can answer that? I'm just curious if there's anybody who can answer that, see if you guys are listening. Who knows how to make money either way if a stock or ETF goes up or down in a big fashion, in a big way? Let's see. I guess, okay. All right, guys, I'm new to go to webinar anyways, but I appreciate all you guys answering the question. Anyways, I don't know how to find all the responses and stuff. But so the answer is by trading strangles and straddles, options, right? What it allows you to do is have a call and a put position on something where the gain on your winning leg is greater than your loss on the losing leg, right? So you end up with a net profit if you play them right. Now, with that said, there has to be a big catalyst. If you go out and buy strangles and straddles on GLD every day hoping for a gain, you will lose. I can say that with confidence. But when you have these big catalysts, they are really great trades. Okay? Let me see here. So anyways, let me kind of just this is a little bit of a time, I guess, where we can kind of get our bearings and evaluate where we come since we started this presentation. So you might look at that and say, hey, Matt, that's nice, and I know you gave those charts and kind of showed everything and the data and everything. I like that, but, maybe I'm still skeptical. You might say, do these stocks and ETFs really have good odds of making big moves before and or after the midterm election? And my answer, guys, is heck to the yes, all right? So let me prove it to you. Let me show you some trades I made from recent elections and show you the results. So who remembers Brexit, right? Who remembers Brexit, the Brexit vote back in 2016? You all do, right? Because you're all news junkies just like me. And so what happened was the volatility ETF, if you remember, the day of the vote, all the news is coming out saying, oh, they're going to vote to stay. They're going to vote to stay. So the markets were rallying. VXX, which is a volatility ETF, was tanking, right? Because everyone's, oh, okay, everything's well and good, right? The EU is going to remain intact. The globalism is okay, and it's in good standing with the world. Well, guess what we woke up to? We woke up to the vote to what? Leave the EU. All right, so what happened here, the way I traded this, I had bought calls on VXX just before the close on the day of the voting, all right, which was Thursday, June 23rd, 2016. You can see on my chart here the huge gap up that actually gave back, unfortunately, a lot of the gains pre-market, but then I sold as soon as the market opened at 164. It was about a 40% gain for me, which is pretty disappointing, and I'm about to show you why. My coulda, woulda, shoulda moment, guys, from the Brexit vote was that GLD calls went up 450% overnight, and a strangle went up 400%. So you had a little loss on the puts, but yeah, 4 baggers. And I actually heard from one of my clients who said, man, why didn't you trade gold? And I said, I don't really know. And I don't remember my thinking exactly, but anyways, I was happy that he did. But I still made a little bit of money, but it still proves my point, right? That elections trigger binary reactions in the markets, in certain stocks, in certain ETFs. Okay, and here's another one. So here's the 2016 election. You can see the screen. I kind of already showed you this chart a few slides ago, but here's my trade. I had the puts. I sold them at 549. I did lose money on the calls. I sold them that morning as I saw it falling, but my gain on the puts more than compensated for that. Here's another one, IBB. So let me kind of explain a little bit. How am I doing on time? I'm doing pretty good. 11:27. All right, so IBB, what happened here, guys, was that who remembers the rhetoric behind biotech during the 2016 campaign? Let me see if I can figure this out. How many people? All right, I don't know how to work this. Okay, there we go. I'm starting to see some. Okay, cool. So how many remember, go ahead and type it in the box, the comment. How many remember what was the rhetoric behind biotech during the 2016 election? If you remember, stunningly enough, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump were basically singing the same tune. In my opinion, what they were saying was that drug prices were out of control, true, and that they need to come down, right? So, you know, that's easy. That kind of message is very populist, and that easily resonates with people because, let's face it, a lot of people, I don't want to say most people, I don't know what the percentage is, but there's a lot of people out there that take prescription medications, no matter what it might be. All right. So look at that pre-election sell-off in the IBB. I mean, from late September, it went from $100 a share all the way down to the low 80s. That's a big drop. Now, what was going on was that everyone was anticipating who to win the 2016 election. It wasn't Ralph Nader, right? It was Hillary Clinton, right? I think New York Times gave her a 92% chance to win. And so what happened was these biotech stocks were getting clobbered because investors wanted out because Hillary was allegedly going to, you know, clamp down and all these new regulations here and regulations there, this, that, and the other. And everyone had pre-election jitters too, so they wanted to just, you know, just get out of stocks in general, but especially biotech. So when Trump won, even though he kind of was singing the same tune about biotech, we know he's a Republican, and in general, Republicans are what? Business friendly, right? So what we had here was a huge, huge relief rally. It went from 83 all the way up to 98 in about 5 trading days. So what I did is I bought IBB calls on election day, and my thinking there was, okay, this is going to bounce even if Hillary wins because it's probably just campaign talk anyways. You're probably not going to follow through on it. She's a politician, right? So bought calls on IBB on election day, boom, sold them. Just 3 or 4 days later, I don't honestly remember my profit percentage, guys. I could just throw a number out there that would sound, you know, nice and juicy, but I don't remember. But you can imagine it was pretty good, right? And the reason why it says the 260 calls on my screenshot there is because of a split that has happened since then. That's why it says $83 to, you know, in the 90s. So, you know, just so you guys don't think there's any funny business going on there on my part, okay? So anyways, but that was a great, great trade based on the election. And that's the kind of stuff I'm scouring for now. So if you think that was good, let me show you this one. All right. Let me see. Am I still good? Okay. So CoreCivic, not a household name, but this is a big company. And basically what they're a privately ran prison operator. So yes, they build prisons and they take inmates and are paid by the federal government for every inmate that they house. Okay. And it's a profitable business. And, you know, it's a very big company. And there's also another one that's GEO. But anyways, let me focus on this one because this is one I traded. So what I did, guys, here, let me explain my thinking before I explain the trade results, is I said, you know, Hillary basically wants to shut down these private prisons. Her rhetoric was, these prisoners are treated unfairly in private prisons. We need to move them all back to Fort Leavenworth. No, she didn't say Leavenworth, but, you know, she wanted to bring them back to federally owned land and prisons, which stunningly enough, I actually read the other day that private prisons, the prisoners actually want to go there instead of the federally owned prisons because they're treated better. But hey, it is what it is. It was a, you know, politics back during the election, and I'm sure it will be again in next election or two. But anyways, I bought these calls here again on the theory that even though Hillary is saying all this stuff, she's not actually going to do it. So I thought, you know, this is overdone. This is oversold. So I bought the calls here thinking that regardless of who wins the election, she is not going to put these legitimate companies out of business. She'll probably maybe cut back a little bit on the amount of new prisoners they get for a year or two and then let things go back to normal, right? So, but I was wrong because Trump won, which was fine with me because these things shot to the moon. It was like a spring-loaded bounce, like, you know, reaching a big fat rubber band all the way back in your hand, just letting that thing go. That's the way these things bounce back. This is the weekly chart. So you can see what happened, guys. I bought these calls. I went out actually into March. So I went out a few months in my strike prices, or else I probably could have made like, I don't know, 6,000%. But anyways, 600%, I'll take it, right? So I bought the calls at $1. You can see the screenshot there, and I sold them at $7.20. That's the power of elections, guys. Not just placing random trades saying, oh, I think it's going to, oh yeah, the chart looks good. Oh yeah, okay. I got a tip from somebody that sent me an email that says this stock looks good or it looks like it's going to drop. Oh, okay. No. You have to understand how the election plays out and how the pertinent issues that are being talked about during the election are going to cause binary reactions in stocks and ETFs. So you might say, well, why does gold always move during elections? Well, it's hard to say exactly for sure, but it's Federal Reserve related, right? So, you know, any kind of more Democrats, you know, you could view that as, being one, supportive or not supportive of the Federal Reserve, this, that, and the other. But anyways, it's not always cut and dry as things like this with individual stocks and companies where people were fearing CXW was going to go to zero if Hillary got elected, right? So you had that huge relief rally. So I hope all this is making sense. I really think about that for a second. Turning 1,000 into 7,200, that's why I trade elections, guys. That's why I made this slide. That's why I talked to Jeanette and I said, look, I have an incredible offer for your folks that can really make them a ton of money, right? Not just something that I pulled out of my derriere, right? But something that is real and something that works time after time after time. The only thing that stinks about this kind of strategy is what? That elections only come about every 2 years, right? Unless you have, Brexit Part 2 or something, which would be cool. I would definitely trade that as a free tip if that happens, but I don't think it will. But anyways, so do you see why I get so excited over trading elections? So stop looking at it from a standpoint of I'm either a rock rib conservative Republican or if you're happen to be a Democrat. So look at it from the lens of a trader now instead of after the election. You see all these moves and think, oh man, doggone it, I should have made those trades. Guess what? Matt is here to save the day because I am showing you these trades before the election. So you don't have to have those coulda, woulda, shoulda moments, guys. All right. So again, like I said when we first started, if you've had a so-so or even a red year of trading thus far, these elections can trade can change all that real fast. All right. All right, can everybody see the slide that I'm on now? It says, so now do you see why I get so excited over elections? All right. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. I just saw a message and it was from earlier. Okay. So anyway, sorry guys. So I had to hit a little speed bump there. But so yeah, this can be, maybe if you've been trading and trading and trading and trading all year, it's already almost November and you're like, oh, man, I've been trading all year and I barely got anything to show for it. Or maybe you're even in the red, right? Maybe you want to be able to withdraw a few thousand in profits by the end of the year from your trading account just in time to buy some Christmas presents. So you don't have to, use money that you earn from your work or from your business, right? This is the ticket, okay? And also, when you think about it, what I'm giving you, when I show you what I have to offer, is I'm giving you a roadmap to use for future elections, okay? So let's talk about specific trade plans for the November 6th midterms. I have a complete trading plan with all my research available. I will unveil all of this special research and trade recommendations with 250 traders who want to trade the election with me. This class is what I'm calling my midterm election fortunes class, and it is a one-time event, obviously, because midterm elections for 2018 are only going to happen once. And so what I have now, guys, is I have a special offer for trade thirsty subscribers only. And, if you think about it, guys, if you're trading account of any kind of size, you could easily make $1,500 to $2,000, $3,000 on these trades if they work as planned, as I think they will. Easily make $997 and definitely could make back $197 of profit. And that's all I'm asking, guys, so that you can grab a seat and I can lay these trades out for you in my midterm election fortunes class today. All right, so here's more details on the class. The class is October 30th, which, believe it or not, is this coming Tuesday. It's already here. It's a full week before the election, so it gives us time to prep and all that stuff and get our minds right for these classes and get our powder dry. All buyers will be notified of the class time and will receive access, so you'll get email notifications and all that stuff. The class includes detailed trading plans for all these election trades, including buy and sell zones and time frames, because some will be, I'll just tell you right now, gold, the GLD trade is probably going to be 24 to 48 hours max. So it'll be in and out, quick cash money maker, okay? Others will be reactive kind of post-election trades, so there might be an instance where, okay, I see the election results and take the trade just after the election, right? So there is some there is kind of some tricky details, but that's what I want to share with you. When you get access right now to the class for a one-time payment of $197 only, that's not per month, that's not per week, that's not per year, that's $197 one time, all right? What you guys need to do to get access to this is type or open up a new tab in your browser and go to tradethirsty.com/election to reserve your spot in the class right now. Okay? tradethirsty.com/election to reserve your spot. And because I'm an all-around good guy, I do have bonuses. For this class, I'm not just going to do the class, answer questions on the class, which I will, and send out the replay and the transcript, which I will. But I will also send alerts on these trades, both buy and sell, as I both place and close them in my own account. All right? Election trade bonus number 2, email updates and alerts on post-election. So like if I get an idea for an election trade that's still kind of related to the reaction or the election results, I'll still send that to you, right? Even if it's 3, 4, a week, 2 weeks, however long later, if it's December 18th, whatever, I'll still send it to you, all right? And then election trade bonus numero 3 is 90 days of one-on-one personal email access with yours truly. This way, if anything is foggy in your brain about how to make this work for you guys, I'll clear it up as soon as I see it. All right? I check my emails every day, just like you, and respond in a timely manner. All right, so that's 3 hearty, juicy election trade bonuses for you. Total value on the bonuses alone, $1,500. Guys, seriously, the class is only $197, okay? Pretty much a no-brainer. Again, the class is this coming Tuesday at 9 p.m. I'm going to put my kids to bed. I'm going to shut the door of my office. I'm going to have, all my notes and a nice clean-cut presentation. It won't be super long, but it will contain all the trade ideas that you need to cash in big time on this election, okay? TradeThirsty.com/election to reserve your spot right now, okay? And I cannot see all the orders coming in, guys. Trade Thirsty is hosting the order form on their end, so I can't see all the orders coming in, but you guys that are joining, I want to say thank you as you're doing it right now, and those of you that are about to click the buy button, thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm going to work my tail off to make it the best $197 you spent all year on any kind of trading related service or ideas or anything. All right. Okay. The link works. Okay. I have confirmed from some of you guys that the link does work. Okay, cool. Steve says, will it be recorded? Yes. It will be recorded and sent to all buyers of the class. Yes. And I'll have it transcribed and I'll put on a nice PDF for you. And you get the email. So even if you miss the class, you don't watch the replay, you're still going to get the election trade alerts. So I really left kind of it's an airtight offer, guys. It's airtight, right? You can't miss out on it. Do I want you to come to the class? Yeah, I want you to come, man. I want to talk to myself, right? But at the same time, I understand you might not be able to make it. But then there's the replay. You got a full week to watch the replay before the election trades, and then I'll send the email alerts to you. All right? So anticipate placing those trades, many of the trades, at least one huge trade on election day, and then closing it out the day after or the day after that at the latest. All right. So yes, it will be recorded. All right. I can get some questions in here. How long have I been trading? I've been trading, let me think about it. It was 2018. I've been trading actively for about 11 years. And again, I showed my my screenshot from my account for those of you who may just be jumping on. Here's my P&L chart. Okay. I'm not a hedge fund. I trade with a modest size account. I don't trade with $1 million account. But you can see my balance goes from the lower left to the upper right, right? I do have my cold streaks. I have my bad trades. But if you could condense this chart between me and you guys, right now, if I could condense this kind of P&L chart to only taking trades that are set up around big events like this, I wouldn't have quite as many drawdowns at all. It would be more of a steady slope up. But, I like trading, and sometimes my emotions get the better of me, and I make bad judgment calls, but usually not during big events like this. This is where I've made a lot of money. I made 22 grand on a trade one time on GLD on a strangle. So on a big event. There wasn't an election, but I don't want to get off too far on a tangent. But yeah, my biggest trade ever was on GLD overnight. All right. So these are mostly going to be options trades. I don't trade futures. If you want to somehow extrapolate the trades that I'm taking and use them on futures, by all means, go ahead. I actually learned not too long ago that you can actually do straddles and strangles on Nadex, which I had no idea, which is cool. But yeah, the trades that I'm going to be placing are on the options. Okay, so you futures guys out there and gals out there, have at it. You know, if you can structure a trade, you know, using kind of the strategy that I'm using on options or stock or, you know, ETF shares, then you know, good for you. But I don't trade futures, not yet, anyways. All right, so I've answered a few questions. So let me guys sweeten the pot even more. So as an exclusive bonus to Trade Thirsty, I'm giving you guys a full year membership to Microcap Millionaires, my buy and sell alert service. So what I do is alert microcap stocks there, dare I say penny stocks. But, you know, microcap's a little more stately way of saying it, right? So, but we look for these cheap stocks and we go ahead and, you know, look for a catalyst. I kind of liken it to a poker player, right? What are poker players when they're sitting at the table look for? That's why they all wear sunglasses and stuff like that. But because they want to hide their emotions. But what the good ones look for is tells. So if I'm playing poker and I get a good hand, you know, but I think the guy across the table from me has an even better hand, he starts pulling out his earlobe or maybe scratching at the end of his nose or something like that. I'm like, okay, yeah, I've watched this guy before. I know he's got a really good hand because he's got some nervous energy. So, you know, to kind of adjust your bet based off of that tell. The same thing goes with trading microcap stocks is you look for the tells. Example, Pier 1. I got in 2009 at 12 cents a share. I cry at how soon I sold it. I sold it between 65 cents and $1 as it went like, you know, over 20 bucks a share over a period of time. But anyways, that's the kind of trades to look for. Fannie Mae, when it was under 50, got in. CGC, now what, I know it's correcting now, but, you know, it was a $50 stock a couple of weeks ago, you know. So these are the kinds of stuff that, kinds of trades that you'll get access to as a member of Microcap Millionaires. And that's a free bonus, guys. I'm telling you what, I have people right now that pay $97 a month for the service. So, I mean, this doesn't kind of push you over the fence, guys. I don't know what else I could do. Maybe sing you a song or something. I don't know. But this sells right now at $97 per month. You get one full year of this buy and sell alert service, access to the members area, email alerts, all that jazz. There's actually even a free course in there on trading microcap stocks too. It has a $97 value all in and of itself. That's in the members area. So I'll get you guys all set up just as soon as I get like the roster from, I don't even know how all this works. Honestly, it's the first time I've done a presentation to Trade Thirsty folks. So, but I'll get you set up just as soon as I humanly can with all these bonuses. And of course, I want you to be mostly excited for the election trades. But I did want to throw in that bonus. When I did this webinar, let me be totally transparent with you guys. You understand how special this offer is? When I did this webinar to my list of folks, I didn't offer them this bonus of the full year of the newsletter. All right. So just so you guys know that you are spatial today. Okay. So tradethirsty.com/election to reserve your spot right now. All right. PayPal possible? I do not know. You'd have to see the option for PayPal on the order page itself. What is the winning ratio of the alerts? So for the election trades, I'm trying to remember back in 2016 my trades. I'm trying to remember one that didn't work, and I'm having a hard time remembering one. For my microcap service, we usually hit around 60 to 70% winners. But there are times when, you know, I'll get in something, I'll say, hey, this is a half position. I think it's probably going to go lower, so I'm going to add to it when the time comes, when it gets lower, and it does, and then we might hold it for a while, you know. It's not day trading, not Tim Sykes, not Jason Bond type thing, if that's what you're wondering. All right. So here's some more questions that I came up with. Hold on, Jim, let me shut the door to my office. All right, so how do I know these trades will win if the Democrats or Republicans? Well, that's a great question. So we're going to explore both possibilities and execute trades that leverage both potential outcomes for the election. What are the percentage gains you've been seeing with these trades? Usually between 50 to 200% gains. Of course, I showed you a six-bagger, but I don't want to go around promising you six-baggers. All right, so that's what I'm used to seeing on the election trades. Okay, guys. So what we want to look at now, how many elections produce losing trades? That's a really good question. Elections of small consequence tend to bring little reaction to markets. As an example, how many remember a few months ago, the media made a big deal about it, but there was a special election for an open Senate seat in Alabama that was vacated by Jeff Sessions, who became Trump's not-so-favorite attorney general. And a Democrat won that election in Alabama, of all places. Right? It was pretty crazy. But although it was fun political theater, there was absolutely no reaction in the markets. So you want to use elections that the markets, are fretting about, which they're obviously fretting about this one because markets are tanking pre-election just like they were in 2016. All right, so how do they get the alerts? So they're going to be sent via email. I send the alerts via email, and they're going to get the replay link, members area. There's a member. I can see if I can pull up a members area. Just too cumbersome here with you guys watching me go between 65 different tabs in my browser, but I'll see what I can figure out here. What kind of startup capital should a trader have for these trades? The minimums for opening an account, usually around $2,000 is fine, but ideally $5,000 or more would be helpful so you can divide your account into more than just one or two trades. How long do you usually hold the trades until you close them? Well, some of what I'll share is, quick hitters that could be, not a day trade, but an overnight trade, which I think at least one of the major trades will be an overnight trade. There are some that could amount to several weeks, like the private prison trade from 2016 and the CXW calls. I held those for a good 3 or 4 weeks before I sold, which worked out for me. Is this for stocks or options? You can use stock, shares for maybe some of the trades that I'll talk about, like Fannie Mae, or but most likely it's going to have to be you're going to have to be able to trade options in your account. So you guys can't trade options. I'll just be straight up with you. Try to get approved to trade options because you're not going to want to miss out on these. Okay. Number 7, tell me exactly what I get if I buy this. Well, you get access to one of the 250 seats for the live class where the research and trades are being presented with a Q&A session, access to the recording. So it'll be a link, boom, you can watch it at 3:30 a.m. at night if, whenever you want. PDF transcript of the class so you can, maybe if you want to print it out, take it with you to work, drink it with your cup of coffee in the morning or your tea in the afternoon, whatever, you can do that. It's for your convenience. And also, of course, you get alerts and updates for the buy and sell alerts on all the elections, fortunes, trades, and of course the bonus that I just talked about too, which is the full year of Microcap Millionaires. All right, and you won't get that kind of. I've never offered a full year for as a bonus for a 197 offer, so hopefully you guys can appreciate that. And I do have also, drum roll, I do have a guarantee. So here's how the guarantee works. If you take the class and place the trades and you end up losing money, just send me an email within 30 days of the class with proof that you made all the trades I lay out, and I'll refund your money pronto. This ensures that I don't get the type of people who like to see me work and share my best secrets for free on this class, hogging up space that can be used for sincere trade. So basically my point is I really want people that want to leverage this research to make money to get these 250 spots. Okay. So, but at the same time, I do have this guarantee because, I want to assume the risk here. I don't want the risk to be on your part. Okay. So, if these trades don't work, you can get your money back for the class. All right. I can't go on your account and click the buy and sell buttons for you, but I can show you the trades with a lot of specificity, right? And show you exactly what I've done and in close to, close to real time. Of course, I placed the trade and I get to send the, it takes a few seconds for all that to transact, but pretty close to real time. All right. Again, the date for the class is October 30th at 9 p.m. All buyers will be notified of class time and will receive access to recordings. And it's tradethirsty.com/election. I need to be saying that more. tradethirsty.com/election. What time in the day do you send the alert? That's a good question. So it's going to be on election day. What I like to do to try to avoid paying a lot of premiums for my options is I like to wait post 2 p.m. Now, you don't have to, but the thing I hate doing is paying more than I have to, for my options. Just like anything else in life, you don't want to go, like the difference between going to McDonald's on Disney World and McDonald's just outside the front gate. I mean, you're going to pay 3 times as much at the McDonald's inside Disney World, right? So you're going to wait until you're out the front gate to go to McDonald's. So, same thing goes with these options trades. You're going to wait till closer towards the end of the day to buy them because you're going to pay less in premium. All right. There will be stop losses for some of the trades, but quite honestly, some of them won't have that. Like with a strangle and straddle, for that to work, your one leg is going to expire worthless, but it won't bother you because if it goes as planned, you'll make more in the winning leg far more than you lost in the losing leg. Like let me give you an example. I played QQQ Strangle on Thursday afternoon. So I bought a QQQ Strangle that expired this past Friday, yesterday, because I wanted a cheaper way to play Amazon and Google earnings coming out the same afternoon. So what I did, so if Amazon is like, super expensive to buy a Strangle on Amazon. You're talking, I don't know how much money, like 10 grand, I think, even for options that expired yesterday. So I don't want to put that much money at risk, right? So the QQQ ETF, the price per share is much lower. So the options are lower per contract anyways. And so I was able to get a position in QQQ, and I didn't have to pay as much premium as I would have had to pay if I would have strangled Amazon or Google, because Google's another expensive one. And boom, I bought it for, if I remember correctly, I paid $280, and I sold the puts for an average of $480. So not quite a double, but pretty close. And I just let the calls expire worthless. They were worth like $30. So I was like, do I want to hit market sell and maybe pay more in commissions than these things are actually, worth? So I was like, no, just let them expire worthless. So that's how it kind of works with the straddles. All right, guys. So tradethirsty.com/election to reserve your spot. Midterm fortunes trading class and alerts. One-time thing only. It's not like you can look at this and say, well, maybe I'll look at it in 2 weeks. Well, it'll be too late, right? So you guys have to, make a decision. I hate to put you in a corner, but it is what it is. And these trades are going to be huge. I've showed you the proof from previous elections. I only wish that I would have figured this out like maybe 20 years ago, I guess, when I was a young man. But hey, it's taken me a while. But Lord willing, I've still got a lot of years left on this earth and a lot of elections to trade and have some fun and make some money. And I'm going to try to help as many people do that alongside me as I can. All right, so.
All right, Matt, I'm here. Thank you. Hey, that was great. Thank you. I'm super pumped. I think I have to go by the class. I'm just going to say over the top of what I was expecting, and I'm excited that you came and spent this hour with us. And I'll make sure that we get this out to everybody so that they know that you're on a schedule here, right? The selection's waiting for no one. So,
yep.
All right, I'm going to dismiss you. And you're welcome to sign back in if you want, but I'm going to dismiss you. And thank you for spending this hour with us. I'm excited about the class, and I'll holler at you later.
All right. Thank you. My pleasure. All right, everybody. Have a good day. See you, Jeanette.
Okay. Bye.